Sports. Big Block 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 Sports.
Big Block Sports. This is episode 8B, NFL Week 8 picks and predictions. Let's get into the schedule. Again, if you're looking for NFL talk, NFL insights, story time, and analysis, you want to check out episode 8A. This episode is solely about the Week 8 games, picks, and predictions. I got the schedule up. I have the odds from, what is this, MGM and PointsBet and all sorts of fun Vegas. They're all pretty much the same number here. But I have the times, where the game is located. Let's get into NFL Week 8. Last week, let's just not talk about my picks last week, but this week, I feel renewed. I feel rejuvenated, and I'm ready to pick. I got a good game. Well, it was initially going to be fire, out of control, but with Davante Adams being put on the COVID list, I'm not quite sure if the Green Bay Packers have enough firepower. So our first game, Arizona Cardinals at home versus the Green Bay Packers. Again, any other week without Davante Adams, we're definitely looking at an NFC playoff preview here. The Cardinals are favored by 6 points. It's a home game. It's a Thursday night game. Again, I like both teams. I like what the Packers do offensively. Their offense is very similar to the 49ers, given McDaniel's history and given Kyle Shanahan's history. Sorry, Matt LaFleur. McDaniel is the guy they tried to hire. Matt LaFleur and Shanahan, their history. A lot of motion, a lot of tight end sets. And Aaron Jones, in so many ways, him, Raheem Mostert, very similar backs, speed guys, but between the tackles, they can really run hard between the tackles. So I like the Green Bay Packers on offense. I like the Arizona Cardinals on offense. They just have so much speed at every position, right? And I think one thing, again, Kyler Murray is the great equalizer. If you have a dominating pass rush, he can get out of the way. If you have a weak secondary, he can throw it over their heads. If you have a great secondary, he can throw it between the defenders. They have wide receivers who can go up and get the ball. Kirk, Hopkins, Green, all are tall, leaping, quick guys. Rondale Moore in the slot. Chase Edmonds out of the backfield. Even Connor is running hard like he's back in Pittsburgh replacing Le'Veon Bell. So the Arizona Cardinals are stacked on offense. I think the key in this game is defensively. The Packers have a few more injuries than the Cardinals. I believe the Cardinals are looking to get Chandler Jones back. J.J. Watt is having a great year. Budda Baker is always a great safety. And again, their linebackers in Arizona can run. I'm taking the Arizona Cardinals here to win this game over the Green Bay Packers on Thursday night. The next game, Carolina Panthers at the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are 2.5-point favorites. Sam Darnold is disintegrating before our very eyes. Again, Christian McCaffrey, we're not really sure when he's coming back for that offense. I think Atlanta has found a groove. Matt Ryan, again, every year it is always like, oh, this is the year. And then every year he just continues to go out and whoever the wide receiver is, he deals. So I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons in this game as the favorite. I'm just taking them because I like what they have going on offensively. I know Carolina has a great defense, but they are consistently having to remain on the field because offensively, the Panthers offense is not able to sustain drives long enough. So I'm taking the Atlanta Falcons over the Carolina Panthers. Next game, we got the Miami Dolphins at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills coming off a bye week, had a whole week to prepare for the Dolphins. They are a 13.5-point favorite. Again, the Dolphins flopped around last week. They flopped around in the United Kingdom. They're probably going to flop around here again in Buffalo. So I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills will probably also cover that spread. We saw the Patriots put up, 50 against the Jets? I could see the Bills putting up 50 against the Dolphins. Sorry. San Francisco 49ers at the Chicago Bears. I swear to God, Kyle, if y'all lose this game, because I'm picking the 49ers. If y'all lose this game to the Bears, woo, that episode coming for week 9, episode 9A, if we lose to the Chicago Bears, and I understand it's a home game, I understand the Colts game, rain, weather, whatever. Now, it could be snowy and all sorts of terrible stuff. It is Chicago in the middle. Are we in winter yet? What is this, October? I'm pretty sure we're close to winter, but it's not summer. So I could totally see weather being a factor again in Chicago, but I swear to God, Kyle, I swear to God, John Lynch, if y'all lose this game to the Bears, smoke in the city is all I'm going to say. But I'm picking the San Francisco 49ers. We're 3.5-point favorites. We could beat these guys. There's no reason why we shouldn't. As long as it doesn't rain, and as long as they don't throw the ball deep, we should be good. Next game, Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns. Again, we're still not sure if Baker Mayfield, it's actually a Halloween. All these games are on Halloween. Dang, that's crazy. Not quite sure if Baker Mayfield is coming back. I don't really think it matters. Pittsburgh, inconsistent this season. Sometimes we get Big Ben. Sometimes we get Little Bob. So I am taking the Cleveland Browns in this game. They're a 3.5-point favorite. I could see it being very close, just like the Broncos game. Again, another 17-14 game where the Steelers will mess around and cover the spread with the last-second score or something like that in garbage time. But I have the Cleveland Browns winning this game at home over the Pittsburgh Steelers. Philadelphia Eagles at the Detroit Lions. Ugh. The Eagles are 3-point favorites. The Eagles are 3-point favorites against the Detroit Lions, who just took the Rams, at least for a quarter, to the shed. Two teams that we both played in San Francisco. Again, both strong showings against us. Maybe we just suck. I don't know. But we won both of those games easily by the time the final whistle blew. I like the Eagles offensively. I'm still not quite sure what the coaching staff is up to. I don't, the dude, yo, if it's fourth and anything, he's going for it. And then they're like running draw plays or something on fourth down. Like, it's the weirdest fourth down calls I've ever seen. So I appreciate the desire to go for it on fourth down. I don't appreciate the execution or the play calls. I got to see who's really calling plays over there in Philadelphia. I really want to take the Lions. I really do. I think they could win it. They were right there, and then Goff turned into Goff. There is no Aaron Donald on the Philadelphia Eagles. Well, there's Fletcher Cox. He's pretty stout. There's no Jalen Ramsey on the Philadelphia Eagles. Darius Slade coming back to Detroit might have a little chip on his shoulder. I'm going to take the Detroit Lions. YOLO. Detroit Lions over the Philadelphia Eagles. You heard it here first. Big Block Sports. I'm taking the Lions. Walt, if you're watching this is your fault. This is your fault for having me always talk and look at the Lions. Now I'm picking the Lions. This is your fault. Next game. Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. And I know the Colts probably high, feeling like this after beating us up in the rain. Titans are going to win this game. Derrick Henry is going to rush for 150 yards. Tannehill's going to have 2 touchdowns. I don't think the Colts have a chance in this game. Now, I did mention episode maybe 2. The Colts were my most dangerous 0-2 team at that time. And again, they're on a 2-game winning streak. They have Tennessee coming in, who's also high off a big win over the Chiefs. There is an opportunity for a trap game, but I think the Titans are locked in. I think they're overcoming some of those injuries that we talked about earlier, that we talked about in previous episodes. That was episode 6A, where I talked about how the Tennessee Titans have exceptional amount of players on injured reserve. But I am going to take the Tennessee Titans to win this game over the Indianapolis Colts. I do think both running backs will have great games, but I simply think the Tennessee Titans will make more plays at the end to win it. Cincinnati Bengals at the New York Jets. Do we even have to? I don't even know why it's 9.5. Like it's on the, I don't want to say it's on the lower end of the spreads, but compared to last week, that's pretty tame, especially after the Bengals just dominated the Ravens. So I am taking the Cincinnati Bengals over the New York Jets. That's an easy pick. Even though the game is at MetLife, I'm still going to take the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm coming around. I'm coming around to the Bengals. Not quite there yet, but I'm coming around. I see y'all boys. Los Angeles Rams at the Houston Texans. 14.5-point favorites. I think they'll win by 20.5 points. Los Angeles Rams over the Houston Texans. Again, I don't think the Texans really have much going on offensively. They don't have much going on defensively either. The Los Angeles Rams have a lot going on offensively. They always have stuff going on defensively. So I am taking the Los Angeles Rams in an easy pick. New England Patriots at the Los Angeles Chargers at SoFi Stadium. It's also the home of your Super Bowl this year, SoFi Stadium. I know the Patriots just came off a big 50-point game. They are the first team to beat. Their division opponent, to sweep their division opponent. They beat the Jets twice this year. They're not going to beat the Los Angeles Chargers though. Los Angeles Chargers will beat the New England Patriots. East Coast team coming to the West Coast. A lot of travel. I know Bill Belichick is an experienced head coach. Brandon Staley is not. I do think, however, the Chargers just have more talent at the skill positions than the New England Patriots. Jacksonville Jaguars at the Seattle Seahawks. I think if Russell Wilson was playing in this game, it would be a larger spread. Right now, the Seahawks are only 3.5-point favorites. But like I said a couple of weeks ago, and I know I've just picked them to beat the Dolphins, but they're not playing the Dolphins. They're playing the Seahawks. And as much as I hate the Seattle Seahawks, I'm going to take them to win this game just because the Jaguars are going to Jaguar. And if you know, you know. So I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Next game, Washington football team at the Denver Broncos. Now this one, like I said, I usually bring the schedule up probably like 5 or 10 minutes before I start recording, just to give it a look-see. And this game, I started looking at, and I had to stop looking at it because I could not decide, honestly, which team I wanted to pick. So we have the Washington football team at the Denver Broncos. The game is in Denver. Denver is a 3-point favorite. I like the Washington football team. I think, again, they showed a lot against the Packers last game. I know Heineke is going to throw, his share of questionable throws, but Terry McLaurin is a baller, and if Antonio Gibson can stay healthy enough and McKissick always gives them a nice change of pace, they can do some things offensively. Again, defensively, kind of underachieving right now. Chase Young flying under the radar. I haven't really looked at any of his stats to see how he's doing, but I haven't seen a lot of those. Again, Chase Young flipping over tackles and sacking quarterbacks through guards. I haven't seen a lot of that in the football team's highlights this time around. So I am gonna take the football team, the Flying W's, the Washingtons over the Denver Broncos. Next game, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the New Orleans Saints. They are playing at the Caesars Superdome now. It is no longer the Mercedes-Benz Superdome. It is the Caesars Superdome. Not quite sure whose dome it might be in the future, but I do know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win this game. As much as I want to root for my boy J-Bo wins right over there in New Orleans, I'm going to stick with the favorite. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 5-point favorites. I could see it being a 3 or 4 point game, like 23-20, 24-21. So I could see the Saints possibly covering that spread. But I do think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to win that game. Next game, Dallas Cowboys at the Minnesota Vikings. Again, at US Bank Stadium. Cowboys are 2.5 point favorites, which tells you a lot. Given the records, right? The Cowboys, what are the Cowboys' record? I want to say they lost one game. I know they lost to the Bucks early. I don't think they've lost then. Have they lost? I'm not quite sure. I know Minnesota has lost several games. They were one of 2 teams at 0-2 when I did my most dangerous 0-2 teams. But I'm still going to take the Dallas Cowboys in this one. I think they have a more complete team when it comes to offense, defense, and special teams. Minnesota has some great skill position players on offense. Again, defensively, I'm not quite sure of their identity. I know the pieces they do have, like Barr, Patrick Peterson. Those guys are up there. Even Harrison Smith, excellent top flight safety. He's up there when we talk about age. And I think the Dallas Cowboys have a collection of receivers, a collection of running backs that can simply just outplay those Minnesota defenders. I think offensively, the Vikings could probably hang with the Cowboys, but I do think, again, their defense is not going to be able to stop the Cowboys, where I do feel like the Cowboys defense will be able to slow down. I don't say stop, but I do think if they put Diggs on Jefferson, they can then possibly double Thielen, and then you really only have like Dalvin Cook, and I think between Parsons, Irvin, and all the front 7, they could probably wrangle in Cook somewhat. I know Dalvin Cook is a very hard running back to stop, but you can slow him down by loading the box because he's not a huge dude. And now, not saying he can't run through the tackles, because he can run through offensive tackles. He can run through the tackle, meaning you try and tackle him, he can run through you. He may not necessarily run you over. He can for sure run by you, but I'm still taking the Dallas Cowboys in this game. And last but not least, why didn't they flex certain games? Like this game, I don't know. Actually, now that I look at it, and I'm again, Big Box Sports here. I want you guys to listen closely. I know the Kansas City Chiefs are 10-point favorites. I know this. I know they're, last in their division. I know that they're just coming off that Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls in a row, actually. And I know the New York Giants, like I talked about in the episode 8A, bit of a lost cause. But I don't know. When I saw this game pop up, maybe I thought about like old Kerry Collins or, old Eli Manning out there, or, even Phil Simms, Hostetler, Bill Parcells on the sideline, Lawrence Taylor, Otis Anderson, those guys. Michael Strahan. Maybe that's what I'm feeling right now, and I just feel like the Chiefs are floundering right now. I think they're swimming in a circle. I think one of their fins have fallen off, and they're kind of circling. And I think the Giants can come into Arrowhead Stadium. I know I know that the Chiefs are 10-point favorites. Last week I picked the Chiefs, and the whole time when I was watching the game, I was like, why did I pick the Chiefs? So I'm not picking the Chiefs this week. I'm picking the New York Giants. You heard it here first. Big Block Sports. Chiefs are officially on upset alert. I'm taking the New York Giants. Let's recap just so I can remember. Again, I have the Arizona Cardinals beating the Green Bay Packers. I have the Atlanta Falcons beating the Carolina Panthers. I have the Buffalo Bills beating the Miami Dolphins. I have the 49ers. I have the 49ers beating the Bears. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers. No, I do not. I have the Cleveland Browns beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. I have the Detroit Lions beating the Philadelphia Eagles. Tennessee Titans over the Indianapolis Colts. Cincinnati Bengals over the New York Jets. I have the Los Angeles Rams over the Houston Texans. The Los Angeles Chargers over the New England Patriots. Seattle Seahawks beating the Jaguars. I have the Washington football team W's, flying Dubs, beating the Denver Broncos. I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers beating the New Orleans Saints. I have the Dallas Cowboys beating the Minnesota Vikings. And last but not least, I have the New York Football Giants beating the Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football in front of everybody. Woof. That's exciting. Again, this is episode 8B, NFL Week 8 Picks and Predictions. My name is Malcolm A. This is Big Block Sports. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you next week. Subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so you'll always be notified. Big Block Sports, we out.